On the air. So this is the first time I'm ever doing one of these, so I don't expect anybody to actually get on the live, especially when the time I'm doing this, I shouldn't have any of my audience actually on watching YouTube at this time. You should be in bed. So if you are watching this and you are a typical viewer of my videos, you should probably use this as your reminder to get to sleep. You got some cows to check in the morning, but um, we're going to be doing a little bit of a cattle market update tonight. This is something that we do in the AgriSummit community. Every Tuesday, we get on a call, and there's a few of us at least every Tuesday, and we go through the cattle market updates. So whether that be just some stuff that's going around in the cash market, whether it be some of the future stuff, maybe just some of the news, what we're hearing, and the more people who join, the better, because we can hear cash market prices in different areas of the country, and it's one of the cool benefits of being a part of the AgriSummit community. So, but tonight I had a little bit extra time. I don't know how consistent I'm going to be with these. I had a lot of interest. From my videos when I was doing the daily market updates. The problem is it's just not sustainable for me to post those every single day. So um, I do get more of that stuff into the AgriSummit community. It's kind of the priority, the community. Um, if you're interested in that, the you can check out the channel in my bio. The school community is where the AgriSummit community is hosted on. It's a platform, super easy. You sign up with email, password, and then you can join the AgriSummit community. It's 47 bucks a month, and you can get a discount if you sign up annually. Though it's 47 bucks a month, I think it's completely worth it. There's education in there on futures options, LRP, LGM's a new one. I'm getting some more information on that, how to set up a balance sheet, things like that. And we're continually making those better. In addition to that, we're working on building a herd management app, and that will be free to all AgriSummit members once it is released. So that's a cool thing. I do not have a date when that will be released, but it's something we're working on. And if you're one of the early members yet, you can help shape the features. So I'm going to release updates to the community first, and the community will be able to give feedback on what features they want in that herd management app. So it's a huge it's a huge opportunity to be a part of, building something that fits your operation and what you want and what you need out of a herd management app. And it's built for a family size operation. The AgriSummit community is helping those family operations, be more profitable. Uh, Learn some of these financial topics. And you might ask, like, why am I qualified to talk about some of these? I'm not trying to say I'm an expert in all this stuff. I understand that, and I think that's important. I know there's too many people on the internet these days that claim to be an expert in everything. I was a commodity broker for a couple of years. I learned how to hedge cattle. Primarily, that is what I worked with, hedging cattle, futures and options, both. I understand the products, how they work. That being said, I'm no longer an active commodity broker, so any education I put out on that, none of that is actual live current hedging trading advice. So I don't make trading recommendations. You should always consult with a licensed commodity broker before doing any of that. But that being said, I can educate on how to use the products and how they sort of work. And that's something that I think there's a lack of biased education on. My time as a commodity broker, I seen many brokers who were, overselling products just to push their commission levels. It's in the general sense, it's a commissioned career area. So people are getting paid commissions on trade. And there are ways where they can, you know, build, let's say, three-way spreads and things to help try to stack up commission faster when you might be overpaying for a subpar risk product, something that, you're kind of defeating the purpose. You're getting a worse product and you're paying more. And I don't think there is enough unbiased education on that to help educate, your family operations before they're getting into those situations. And I saw it as a need. There was a need for it. And so that was kind of how the idea of the Agri Summit community was sparked. And we were getting into LRP at that time. Now, fast forward kind of where I am now, I have transitioned into ag lending for the last little over 2 years. And so I have really stepped into that role and learned so many more things. And just, that'd be more of your like financial things, how to structure a balance sheet, um, just all the ag lending principles, how those ratios work, and expanded my knowledge on what I knew before that. So take that, and we've really built the AgriSummit community around that, learning how to apply those concepts to a family size operation. One of the biggest questions I get, or one of the biggest things that becomes unanswered when I ask a cattle operator what they need to know, or I ask them, what's your break even? A lot of people don't know, especially the cow calf operations. I know those feeders, especially the people that are playing with the feeders more often than not. They might get a little bit better of a sense of a break even just because it's more of a margin game. But the cow calf operators, or even just some of those that are maybe background in a few of their calves, it's a more complex break even calculation because there's so many more variables that go into it. And you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to have a number there to understand how to make a system that's going to work for you sustainably. In addition to that, I've seen a huge push for direct consumer beef, and it's something I've done on this channel. I'm proving that you can start a small direct consumer beef operation on the side of your operation, and build that from up, and scale that from small to large. And full transparency, I grew up with cattle, and dairy is actually where we started, and moved over to the registered Red Angus bulls, and now then to a commercial herd. And cow calf has been around, basically for as long as I can remember, been a cow calf operation. So I kind of knew that inside and out. Learned some more of the feeder game when I was a commodity broker. Learned kind of how that operation works. So as far as the cattle side, and I'm living back, helping with the family operation, and then doing this direct consumer thing on the side now. And so I've kind of seen a lot of the different aspects of each one. I'm not going to say that I've done this thing for 40 years and I know exactly everything inside and out. That's not the point. The point is I've seen aspects of a lot of different things. I know how to use financial tools. That's one of the things that I have spent a lot of time with. I've spent years in each of those industries, something that you can't get unless you're actually working in those industries. Insider knowledge on those industries of how they work, how people kind of get misled into things. And unfortunately, those things happen every single day. And I want to shed some light onto that. And on top of that, like, one of the biggest benefits of the Agri Summit community, being a part of the school community, um, once you're a member, you have access to talk to all the other members. So not only are you going to hear like what I have to say, but you can ask the community and see what they have to say. And if there's a rancher who's in there who maybe has more experience than me, they might have a different opinion than me, and that's fine. And you can get that access to that knowledge. You can post the questions in there, see what they have to say, and they can respond to you. And it's a great way to get more education on you know all the topics, whether you want to talk about the financial aspects of running cattle, or whether you want to talk about maybe more of the herd management or health side. So, ever since starting the community, we have expanded the team, and we have Olivia in there now, and she's doing, you know, Monday and Friday videos on more of that, cow calf health and feeder cattle health topics, and maybe some herd management stuff. And she's really hit on some of those things that, you know, a lot of people might know, but there's also a lot of people who don't know, or they don't know quite the specifics on. And she's backing all that up with data that she finds, factual data, information that she's gathered. She grew up in the industry as well. And then we have Andrew, who's been with the community since the beginning. And, he grew up around the feedlot industry, has some cow calf, and he's getting on every Thursday doing a video on, it's Andrew's Two Cents, it's called. And he's talking about, the news, politics, kind of putting that all together, bringing in some of his faith and just maybe some motivation stuff. He's just giving a little bit of his 2 cents on just the whole aspect. And you get to hear some more, maybe some of that little more fun topics where you get into the political aspect and watch some of those videos. And then every Wednesday, I'm doing a video on specifically on one, a quick snippet on one of the financial products of maybe it's a strategy of how you can uh, make more money in your operation or something I've heard or been learning about, reading about. I'm constantly learning, reading about new tools, things, whether it be like FSA programs or one big one is Farming Without the Bank. If you've ever read that book, I've learned about that infinite banking strategy, something that I'm learning to implement. And it's a cool strategy. And I think it is something that could change the game for a lot of family operators. I don't want to go too far into that right now. If you're interested, let us know. But it's something that we can help people with, help them understand it, help them use it, and and get more access to if that's what they're interested in. Same goes with any of those other products. LRP, LGM is a one that it's a newer one that I'm learning about. It's been around, but I don't think it's as popular as LRP at this point, the time we're making this video, but maybe in the future it will be. And we get to talk about those things. Not only that, just the other markets too, like the grain markets and just the different cattle markets around the country. Having access to a community where people are all across the country, you get to hear different stories. People on the East Coast, they might raise coast cattle a little bit different than people, over in the mountains. Like I should say the Rocky Mountains. I know the Appalachian Mountains are in the East Coast side, but you get what I'm saying. Appalachians versus the Rockies, Midwest Plains versus maybe Southern cattle and Texas. It's different. Um, but at the end of the day, we all have the same goal of helping grow more family operations across the country. So that being said, I've been rambling on that for 12 minutes. So if you're interested in joining the AgriSummit community, make sure you check it out. Um, I don't know if I'll have that linked in here. Again, this is my first live, so not 100% spot on. But now we'll get into just kind of the cattle market update. Again, we do stuff like this every Tuesday. We'll do a live call in the AgriSummit community. And anybody can get on that and we can talk through this stuff. But live cattle, Feb live cattle were 235.15, down 210 today. April 237.32, down 165. June 232.32, down 107. And then feeder cattle January 364.75, down 152. March feeder cattle 359.70, down 242. April feeder cattle 358.17, down 242. So down today. Big thing that we were talking about on Tuesday was, corn was down, and I think that supported the cattle market a little bit. Seems like we're having a little bit of a fallback today. Um, I know cattle numbers were short. Andrew was talking about in our Tuesday call, the show list. He talks a little bit more about some of those things and probably had the cattle up the last few days. Um, Looks like today, part of the news that was being talked about was, there just weren't really any sales going on. Box beef prices were higher, but again, that's a little bit delayed. It looks like the estimate slaughter was below last week, shy from last year's numbers. But overall, there's just no cash trade kicked off the way it seems. And, that sometimes results in a down day. I don't have anything too specific I want to go in on this live. Sometimes when we're in the community, we go through some of the spec stuff of, the technical analysis of the charts. I know technical analysis isn't everything, and typically a cow calf operator, or, yeah, a farmer rancher doesn't really believe in the technical aspects of the charts, but they do play a factor because there's enough people that believe in them, that they're trading on them, that the market will act on them. So sometimes it's nice to look at the charts. We don't do that every time. We don't even do that every other time. It's more rare, unless there's something major I see in like the charts that people might want to know. But again, none of it is professional trading advice, and I always make sure to let everybody know to go consult with a licensed commodity broker before making any trading or hedging decision, and that's very important to do. So that's pretty much our update for today. There wasn't not anything super crazy. Other than that, sometimes we get into a little bit talk about foreign trade, things like that. Other big headline news, things that are maybe moving the market, and we'll get into more of that. Again, we get into most of that when we're inside the community. So this is just a little taste of that. I know I've made some market update videos, some shorts before, but this is my first time trying to live. I just wanted to test it out, see how it goes. And I know it's late, so I shouldn't have any viewers on here. I think there's a couple people popped in, but it was more than I expected. So we'll see if we get some views on the recording. If you like it, make sure you like it. Comment on the video if you'd like more of these. And if you really do want more of these, the best place you can get them is inside the Agri Summit community. 47 bucks a month, you're spending way more of that on, television and other things, and you're getting way more value out of it, especially with the education on the topics that you're getting unbiased education. I'm not trying to sell you commodity products like futures and options because I'm no longer, commodity broker. I'm not trying to sell you LRP because, I don't sell LRP. So you're getting unbiased knowledge, and not only that, if there's something you have a question on that I don't know, or Olivia doesn't know, or Andrew doesn't know, we'll get the information for you. We'll find somebody. That's one thing we're going to do in the future is bring on guests, and we have the ability to do that now, and that's pretty awesome. So, with that being said, though, I appreciate you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one, and as always, God bless.